Hello everyone. Today we're going to complete Packet Tracer Lab 1.0.5 from the Cisco Intro to Networking class. I've got the lab here up on the screen and the lab sheet docked on the left, which is where I like to keep it. If you would like to undock this, just click the dock button and you'll be able to move the sheet around. We're currently in physical mode in this lab. And as you can see, I've got a map of the western United States and western Canada here with Alaska up here and Washington State over here. I'll let you take a look at the objectives and the background scenario on your own. And I want you to take note that this particular lab is keeping track of our percentages. As we complete items, you'll be able to see this increase. In physical mode, we have this map, but in logical mode, you'll see that it looks very different. We have icons for devices, we have cables and diagrams. That's what this lab is about, investigating physical and logical mode. Timestamps are in the description, so let's get started. Let's start off by moving to the instructions in part 1 here. Investigate the bottom toolbar. In part 1, we want to take a look down here at the toolbar that shows us a bunch of icons that we have available to us. And I want you to notice that if we click on them, we'll see the icons, and then we can click down below for subcategories. For the end devices, they have its own subcategories. For components, subcategories. For connectors, these are very important, and I just want you to know that the description for these connectors is right here in the bottom middle. It's not very easy to see, but as you hover over them, the name of each one will pop up there. Then of course we have miscellaneous and multi-user connections. What are the subcategories for the network devices? Well, if I click on it, I can see them all down here. All right, part 2. Investigate devices in a wiring closet. Now, we didn't go exploring, so we don't need to follow this direction here. They want to make sure we're in physical mode and we're in intercity. That's listed right here. And then part B here says to click Seaward and then the branch office. So here's Seaward and here's the branch office. Part C, click the branch office wiring closet. Notice that the wiring closet has a rack, a cable pegboard, a table, and a shelf. The rack contains devices that can be rack mounted, and if we zoom in, you'll be able to see that. So here's the power for everything that all the devices are plugged into. Then we have the edge router. We have ALS1, that's a switch. ALS2, that's a switch. An access point, and a web server. That's all on this rack. Part E says below the switches in the rack is a wireless access point named access point. Wireless access points use a wireless connection to connect to other devices. Switch to logical mode, which device is connected to the access point. So let's go to logical mode. We're going to look for access point. Here we are in logical mode in Seaward branch office, which is where we are. Here is the access point, and it is connected wirelessly to laptop 1. So that's the answer to that question. Part F, switch to physical mode. You should be back in the branch office wiring closet. Where is the device connected to access point physically located? All right, let's zoom back out. And here is the laptop 1. So it's right here. Part 3. Connect end devices to networking devices. Devices can be connected in a variety of ways. For network connectivity, devices are typically connected using either a copper straight-through cable or wirelessly. For management connectivity, devices are typically connected using either a console cable or a USB cable. Let's look at part A here. Investigate the cable pegboard. It includes console cables, 10 copper straight-throughs, 4 fiber cables, those are fiber optic, 2 coaxial cables, and 2 USBs. Notice that the cable representations in physical mode are more representative of their real-world counterparts. Switch to logical mode. So these look like real cables. When we go to logical mode, it's more of a diagram. Back to physical mode again. And part B says, switch to physical mode, click a copper straight-through cable from the pegboard. Part C, float your mouse over the ports on PC1 until you see the Fast Ethernet 0 pop up. Let's go down to the PC. Here's PC1. We're going to float this over here until we see Fast Ethernet 0. There it is. And now we want to just click on this so it turns green. That means one end of my wire is connected to that. Part E. Connect the other end of the cable to the ASL2 switch by clicking. All right, let's go find ASL2 before I continue with the directions. Here's ALS2, that's the switch. We're going to click on any empty port here. And now you'll see the cable dangling. See that? It's dangling between the PC and ALS2. Part F. PCs and laptops can also be connected to the networking devices using a console cable or a USB cable. This connection provides management access. Click a console cable from the cable pegboard. There's a console cable. I'm going to click on it. Click RS-232 port on PC1. Okay, so PC1. Here's RS-232. I'm going to click on that. Part H. Float your mouse over the edge router and find the console port. So let's go to edge router and we're going to find the console port. Okay, let's look around for it. That's auxiliary. There's console. We're going to click it to connect the console cable there. And now it's dangling between PC1 and the console port on the edge router. All right. Notice our percentage has changed. You should be at 33% by now. As we start part 4, we're talking about installing a backup router. Newer models of devices can be accessed through a USB port for management configuration. This is necessary because newer laptops and PCs typically do not include an RS-232 port for console cable connections. Part A. Investigate the shelf. This includes an inventory of devices in the Seaward branch office that are not currently installed. So let's go look at our shelf. Here are some devices over here. Click and drag the backup router to an empty spot on the rack. Here's our backup router. We're going to put it on an empty spot or on the rack. Could put it anywhere, right? Let's put it right here. Part C. Some devices are not automatically powered on when installed on the rack. Click the backup router, inspect rear. So here's the backup router. I'm going to right click, inspect rear, and we need to find the power button. Here's what the back of it looks like. It looks like a real router, and here's the power button. I'm going to switch it on. Let me zoom in so you can see that a green light has just turned on. Right click, inspect rear. Now it's on. If I turn it off, you can't see the light anymore. When I turn it on, you can see the green light. Okay. On the cable pegboard, choose a USB cable So we want a USB cable. Return to the rear view of the backup router and find the USB console port on the far left. See it right here, USB console. Connect the other end of the USB cable to either, so I clicked it and it's green. Now we've got to connect it to laptop 1. So let's go to laptop 1. We're going to click it on a USB port on laptop 1. It has 2 USB ports. It doesn't matter which one we choose. I'll choose USB 0. Okay, and now we're at 83%. All right, let's take a look at part 5. Network administrators typically assign a name to networking devices. To do this, you will use your console connection to the backup router. Click Laptop 1 Desktop Terminal. So we're going to click on Laptop 1. That's a left click. Then Desktop, and then Terminal. We just need to click OK here because everything is set up the right way. And now we have, I'm going to move up to the top here. We have all kinds of messages here. But at the very end, if you move down, let me move this up a little bit, we have a question. And it says, would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? The answer to that is no. So we're going to choose no. By the way, if you click out and you need to get back to it, just click back on your device. I'm going to type in no and hit enter. And then it says press return to get started. I'm going to click on this to bring it up again. And you know what? I'm going to click on this top button so that this doesn't keep disappearing behind my lab sheet. So now I'm going to click on the screen again and click enter. And look what it says here. It's got router. So we are in the laptop right now, laptop 1, but we have connected with that console cable to the router. So we're accessing the router. Enter the following commands to name the router Edge Router Backup. Okay, so the first command is enable. And then you hit enter. The next one, configure terminal. The next one, host name, and we're going to type the name that we want it to be called. And hit enter. And then end, enter. Notice now, I'm going to hit enter again. If ever you get, extra little chatter here or the cursor moves somewhere you don't expect, you can hit enter again. And it's now called Edge Router Backup because we just renamed it and it's not called router anymore. It's called Edge Router Backup. Close the laptop 1 window and return to the branch office wiring closet. So I'm just going to X out of this. Notice that the display name for backup router did not change. So let's go over to the backup router. It's still called backup router. In global settings, so it says click backup router config tab. So I left clicked it, and then the config tab. In global settings, notice that Packet Tracer maintains 2 names for the device. In global settings, notice that Packet Tracer maintains 2 names for the device, a display name and a host name. Notice also that we're at 100% completion. Part 6 says, take some time to explore the rest of the network. Become familiar with the network representations in both logical and physical modes. In physical mode, navigate to other areas such as the Wellington Data Center and the teleworker home. The technologies used in these locations are discussed in greater detail in Cisco Networking Academy courses. For now, see what you can discover on your own. Don't worry about breaking anything. You can always close Packet Tracer and open a fresh copy to start exploring again. Congratulations, you've completed this lab at 100%. Bye for now.